This Indian film won at Cannes, the most prestigious film festival. But we didn't choose this film as our official Oscar entry. Now that I have seen the film, did we make a big mistake? Let's talk about it. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince and today we're talking about the film All We Imagine as Light, written and directed by Payal Kapadia. This film won the Grand Prix at Cannes, the second most prestigious award. And even after that, when the Indian jury didn't decide to send this film, there was a lot of noise on social media. There was backlash. Without watching the film, I would say it should have been this film. We'll come to this, but is the film really good? Does it have the merit? Now the film is getting a big release across the country, so if it's playing near you, definitely try to catch it, because simply put, it's a beautiful film. The way it creates this particular mood and carries it throughout the film is outstanding. The story follows two Malayali nurses working in Mumbai, where the film is also exploring the city as a character. And we hear such line many times, but what does that even mean? It's the way the film has given characteristics to the city, as if it was a real person. It's a very populated city where people from everywhere in the country live. Thus, the film is multilingual. Most of it is in Malayalam, but there's a lot of Hindi as well as Marathi. The way the camera is used, we get a lot of close-ups. We always stay close to the characters. They're always framed very tight. You feel congested. We see a lot of concrete, drains, roads, a lot of garbage on roads. We see very dull colors, as if there's no life in them. Majority of the scenes we see in the city are during the night time. Most of the time, the characters are lit from lights which use electricity. They're just lit from one side, and you see a lot of darkness, as if it's consuming them. The city is consuming them. The way the film starts, it's almost like a documentary, because we see the glimpses of the city, the people in their daily routine, and we hear voiceovers of them talking about the city, what it means to them, what it makes them feel. A question is raised: is it a city of dreams or city of illusion? And we have these women going through their life in this city where they have a lot of freedom, which makes them independent, but it also suppresses them. They are earning but not enough to live a good life. It is in a way a very toxic relationship. But I really liked that the film had a really balanced approach. It didn't turn these characters into victims of the city. Instead, it showed just like humans, this city is also flawed. There are good things about it, but there are bad things also. And there's a lot of social commentary, but we never lose the focus. And we come to a point in the narrative where the city has won, and it's denoted by a landscape scenery of the city with the fireworks going on, that it has won over these characters. It came out victorious and the women lost. And I actually thought that could have been a really impactful ending. But we continue, because the film doesn't want to end at a gloomy note, but a hopeful one, where our characters go through an arc. They learn something. They discover themselves. They break the barriers and take a step ahead. They improve. And how does that happen? When they move away from the city. When they connect to their roots by going back to the village, where we see a lot more greenery, where we get to see wide shots, where you feel that the suffocation has gone. It's open. You can feel the air. It felt like, they took a time off from the city life, where they were just going in a circle, unable to think, unable to break the cycle. But once they took time off, refreshed themselves, they felt better. And now we get ready to go back, but with better perspective, with support of each other and a forward-looking approach. And throughout the film, the music does a really good job complementing the visuals. It is very harmonious, and at the end, when we get a wide shot, the music reaches to a crescendo, and when that happens, you feel that high. Talking about the performances, Kani Kusruti, as always, was amazing. Chhaya Kadam did what she does best, but who stood out for me was Divya Prabha, who I've actually met in real life, and she is very shy. I've seen her in films like Ariyappa and Family, but here, the way she played this bold character, she really delivered. Very outgoing, taking charge. And overall, I was really taken aback by Payal Kapadia's, craft. This being her first feature film, the way she crafted this narrative, add those layers and nuances, it felt like a job of a really veteran filmmaker. The way she created a mood, through the visual, it's very difficult. Now, I don't know if this film is everyone's cup of tea. It is that slow burn film. It takes its time. You have to live in the moment. Watching it in a theater really helped. And the theater was full, and I was sitting in the second row in front and looking at the film from there on the big screen. When the shaky cam footage comes, it really throws you off. But now, coming to the point of the Oscar submission, there are 2 points. Point number 1 is very clear. Even without watching the film, this should have been selected as an official entry, because this film got Grand Prix. Last time, the film that won the Oscar for the best international film had also won the Grand Prix. That's not a guarantee that this film would have won, but at least it would have been a good contender to at least get nominated. And no marketing can beat that. Every time when international films are talked about, the films that won at Cannes, France and Venice, they are always talked about the most, and they usually make it to the nomination list. And then even Rana Daggubati came on board as a distributor. Recently, the film opened in France and it did really well. And actually, because this film is a co-production between India and France, even France could submit this film for Oscars as their entry, and they were actually considering it. It was really a no-brainer. But point number two, after having seen the film, what works in his favor is that it's very universal. It's not a very complicated story that only Indian people would understand. It has that universal appeal, and yet it's unique to the Indian culture and society. Anyone watching this film would feel like they know Mumbai, not geographically but emotionally. And even the treatment of the film is very friendly to the Western audience, those who will be voting for it. And with the director's name, who has actually won previously the short film category, they had everything going for them. But I've heard they are still trying to go in the main category and compete there. Even Lapata Ladies, with Amir Khan backing it, they are starting their promotion, translating the name to Lost Ladies, and they'll be having their screenings in North America. And I can understand the logic behind choosing Lapata Ladies with Amir Khan's association. He had Saint Lagan, he has connections there. So we'll have to wait and see if they can make it. A big issue for such films is the availability in theater, and that is something which is not talked about enough, how theaters are killing cinema and ruining the experience. Check out this detailed video about it. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you next time. And a big shout out to all the people at IFI who watched the channel and came up to me and said hi. It was lovely meeting you guys. I do get awkward, but I tried my best. Thanks a lot, and I will see you next time.